very much for having me today. I was afraid I would never get this chance again. So you're getting 3 programs in one. So 3 for the price of 1. So we'll be here till 2:30. I'm sorry, but no. But first off, I'm going to start off with just introducing Ms. Arlene Crabtree, who works she's with Frankfort Independent School System. She has a new position that's really exciting. She's going to do, all these things really are combined, really. They work together. So, Arlene, you want to spend a couple minutes talking about some things she's doing at Frankfort High, then I'll talk about economic education. Then we're going to go into what we're doing, too, for the Franklin Center for Innovation.
Best welcome Arlene here.
Okay, I didn't prepare anything great big because I would like the opportunity to come back and do a full presentation with Superintendent Dr. Barber with me. We are starting a program within our school district called Profile of a Graduate, where we are highlighting 6 skills that we have actually gotten input from the stakeholders, business and industry, parents, community members, students, teachers, the whole bit. So essentially what we've done is the 6 skills that we're looking at are actually job-ready, work-ready skills that the kids are actually going to have to present evidence that they have mastered this skill or that sort of thing. In order to make this a sustainable program, what we need to do is make sure that our community is involved with it and it becomes an expectation and not something that's kind of fly by the night. I am an educator, but I am not a lifelong educator from the standpoint I haven't been in education my entire life. So I feel like that just because when you graduate high school, I don't feel like that you necessarily have to go into college or something of that nature. You can go to a trade school because you're still learning. I'm completely okay with that. So essentially we also have kids that are involved in the design and development of this program. So I really would love that opportunity to be able to present back. So whoever wants to speak up and say, hey, we'd be happy to have you back or that kind of thing. The other thing that I also work with is the Traveling Panthers, which we take a group of kids every year somewhere. In April of this past year, over spring break, over 10 days, we went to England, Wales, Scotland, and Ireland. We took 23 kids with us. So in order to do that, we do fundraisers and things of that nature, and I brought some flyers of what we have, and we're doing an Italian dinner night. So if you guys would like to take one and pass it around, because this is experiential learning. We want these kids to be able to see things that others might not necessarily have, that we do have. And essentially what happened over spring break, and it was kind of an anomaly, was a lot of places didn't have Wi-Fi access, nor were there elevators in 3- and 4-story hotels. So literally when they brought suitcases that were too large, I was like, yeah, that's not going to happen. And, and because they didn't understand that we basically are a land of wealth. We've got everything, and they need to know that. So, yeah, we had some meltdowns over the Wi-Fi issues and things like that. So they come back with a greater appreciation of what they have because they don't really know what they have. So all of you are invited to come. Donations are obviously welcomed. So it's a pretty big night, and what we're doing ultimately with this is to try to possibly get enough funding to be able to take students who can't necessarily afford to go. Because we had a couple students that didn't get to go this year simply due to lack of funding. So if you could come, that would be great. Support is necessary. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, I didn't totally outsource my whole program. I like outsourcing. But so one thing I want to talk about, and that was what we do at KSU. I started last year the Center for Economic Education. I've been involved with I'm an economist, of course, and teach finance and economics. And by the way, I teach at Frankfort High, and it's a pleasure. I do an econ and a finance dual credit course there, and those kids really want to learn. It's amazing. Sometimes more than our college kids. So it's really a pleasure to teach at the Frankfort High School. I love it. As a matter of fact, I just did that this morning. But also, of course, we have to prepare the teachers to teach economics, finance, entrepreneurship. I want every person in this world to be more entrepreneurial related. You don't have to be an entrepreneur, but at least be entrepreneurially minded. So that's what we want to do. And I've got a little packet for you I'll give out here in a few moments at the end here that has a little write-up about what I do. Economic education is about teaching teachers. So we give materials. I got flash drives that has thousands of lesson plans for teachers already made up with economics, finance, entrepreneur lesson plans that they can use. So again, teachers love that. We give them free food. We give them training. They typically go away with the stuff they can use in their classroom. So we do that after school, summers, things like that. So my motto is enhancing the Commonwealth in which every Kentuckian is economically and financially literate. We have a new law now that finance has to be taught in the high schools somewhere starting next fall. So hopefully KSU, we're going to start I've got to work on it this year, a live streaming, we hope, next fall, a class, we can take it from Paducah to Pikeville, that we can have students be on there a certain time of day, and that will give them their financial class. So hopefully do dual credit. And so we can get, well, hopefully K-State will have students from Pikeville to Paducah, basically, taking Finance 101. That's our goal. So, we still be working with teachers, of course, to do this, the kindergarten through 12th grade. It's the whole gamut. When I was in first grade in Mercer County down the road here, my first grade teacher, this is back in the 70s, had us all have a business. That was innovative at that time. We all had a business, and that's how we learned writing, reading, math. I mean, we all had a business, and that was, I grew up on a farm too, so it's, entrepreneurial in nature doing that. But having that in the classroom was it was fun. And so we want more teachers, doing, or of course you can engage students in economics, in history, science, English, anything. I play the stock market game with everybody. I teach, and of course teachers, you can, through the stock market game, you can teach that as well. And again, I'll share this. I did that this morning in class about the media. I haven't watched CBS Morning News just to see what they say about yesterday. And of course, the media is always trying to what? Enhance what happened, okay? The lady on CBS this morning was talking about, she mentioned panic 7 times in her interview, okay? Then at the end, this guy was saying, it's not that, it's not that bad. We're a long way from a recession. We'll have a recession someday, but things are okay. And she said, well, you'll come back when we need a panic? They love to make us panic, okay? But what you got to do is keep investing throughout your life. Even when you want to buy, it's when it's low. I tell students, when people panic, that's when you want to buy, okay? People should never panic, of course, because we're just fine. But anyway, what we want to do is teach teachers all these things about economics, finance, and entrepreneurship. And I'll be, of course, getting with more people and, bringing you to the classrooms. We're always looking for that, real-world experiences. And of course, working with teachers and workshops. Love to have you come, help out in that realm as well. We'll be looking at I want this center to be self-sufficient someday. That's my goal. I want to get it endowed because I won't always be there, and I want to always be there. A lot of times these centers come and go as people are working on them. So we want to get this endowed through time. So I know, this will be something there at the K-State for the next 1,000 years is the goal, right? It would always be there to be endowed. So that's what's coming up for Center for Economic Education. It's actually Center for Economic Education and Financial Literacy at Kentucky State University. So that's what we want to do. Any questions on that before we go to the next? I've outsourced the rest of it. Okay. All right. Actually, I'm part of that too. I've been trying to get a makerspace and trying to make Frankfort more innovative. I've been back home here a couple of years now. And it's already innovation going on, but when you think of Frankfort, you think of state government. So we want to make sure that there's other things out there. The state employees have a place to go and enhance their ideas. They may want to come on lunch break or after work, and they're all experts at something, right? So they can start their own business. We want 1,000 businesses popping up from Frankfort, not just state workers, but those state workers having something on the side, a gig on the side, teachers having a gig on the side that can turn into a full-time business. That makes us the not Silicon Valley, the Kentucky Valley, right? Of Kentucky River Valley of innovation. So we can do that. So we want to change that culture and make everybody from kindergarten start there and make them more innovative. So we've come up with, Ron Shee introduced me to this guy here. Jason Allen's the expert at Makerspace. So again, we have this board. What's that? Yeah, so we have this board we put together, but again, I like outsourcing, so we got an executive director now that's going to be helping us put this, everything to this makerspace. Now, what we have going on, of course, it's called the Franklin Center for Innovation here. That's makerspace, office sharing place, an incubator, a place to have, its educational outlet as well. It's going to be a lot of things. It can grow. I've got visions of a campus, okay? I want to see Kentucky have a School of Veterinary Medicine. I want to see us have all kinds of things that we don't have. We can do it. Now, I hate people say, we can't do that. Well, we can do anything we want to do, okay? So I see a campus coming out of this. We're going to start in one location, but who knows what will happen. But I want to introduce, like I said, I've got in the packet here, by the way, before I get to, everybody got the Kiwanis magazine? Okay. In that is a story about a makerspace in California that's in, who read that story? Anybody? Okay. It's a great story, and it's, if you already thrown your magazine away or whatever, I've got a packet for you we'll give out in the end. There's only 3 things in the packet. One of them is this story copy from your Kiwanis magazine. But, Jason's going to tell us all about what's going on here, and I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Jason Allen, who lives here in Frankfort, and he's going to talk about experiences. Jason Allen.
Thanks, Gary. I'm the expert, I guess. He mentioned Ron Chi. I reached out to Ron a couple of months ago because I'm a stay-at-home dad, have been for a while, raising my daughter, homeschooling her, and I need something else to do. A few years ago, I was at the Learning Center High School in Lexington, and we developed a makerspace program there, and Ron let me know that they're trying to do the same thing here in Frankfort. And he connected me with Gary, who said, hey, we need a community space. And I have done a lot of research. I have a friend who's written some business plans and was part of the Create Now Makerspace in Lexington. And we have all come together and decided, with help from the community, that we need a makerspace or innovation space here in Frankfort. And we need to shine and be the space that everybody looks to for the new innovations and the new ideas. If this will work. We've come up with the name Franklin Center for Innovation. It is a maker space. It is an innovation space. What is FCFI? A collaborative community where makers, entrepreneurs, families, individuals, and children will learn new skills, start a business, be entertained, and build a culture of making new and innovative things. Starting from kindergarten, we need to get our children in the mindset that they can do things and make things and do things outside of just school. And that's what we hope to foster. It's a space for collaboration. FCFI will foster an environment of sharing and collaboration between the different sectors of our community, from business, large and small, education, K through grade, government on national, state, and local levels, and the private sector, which is anyone who wants to grow their knowledge base. We have some examples of collaboration. These are students that worked with adults to come up with products when we were at TLC. This is an engineering student from UK that came in to help a young man on a project he was working on. He was trying to develop a tiny house, and he needed some help on the plans. It'll be a space for innovation. With tools, materials, and people, we will create new methods and make projects a reality. This is a Arduino board with a motion sensor on it that one of our kids developed to help blind folks see in the dark or see how close they were to things. And it would actually beep with an earpiece to let them know how close they were to things. And this was a student project. Given the tools, they'll come up with just about anything. If any of you are familiar with the old handheld gaming systems, our kids were actually building those with touch screens and multiple games on them. It's a space for makers. A maker is a person who makes or produces something. We're all makers. If you make a pie, if you're making dinner, if you're building a cabinet, whatever it is you might be doing. By creating a culture of sharing ideas and making, we will all work together to research, design, and then create needful things or products to sell. A lot of that is here. People are having difficulty getting to whatever the next steps are. How do I take this to a company that can sell my product? Or how can I produce enough of this product to have enough to fill the need? We hope to have a space to do that. This shows students working together to build guitars. This is the same young man sitting at a computer, and something that we learned, a student can sit at a computer and work in 2D for days and hours and weeks on end and never really get the idea or have the spatial knowledge of what that model looks like. So if we can 3D print those and put them in their hands, they understand that. So here's his model, 3D printed, and when he got it, he got it. It made sense to him. Dimensions make more sense. A lot of things starts to click for them. And that's another aspect we hope to share. It'll be a business incubator. Since startup companies lack many resources, experience, and networks, incubators provide services which help them get through initial hurdles in starting up a business. These hurdles include space, funding, legal, accounting, computer service, and other prerequisites to running a business. In an incubator, we can actually put them together with lawyers or financial experts, or give them the computer resources they need, or a conference room. Maybe as a small business owner, you want to meet with 10 or 12 customers and you don't have the ability to do that in your space. We want to be able to provide that. These are examples of, this is a business that a student actually started. His father had some difficulties with his wrists and couldn't bend them correctly to be able to play video games, because you have to manipulate your hands in weird ways. So he actually developed this controller for his dad so that he could play video games with him. And he sold a few, actually. And these are just other examples of products that came out of our program there. It'll be a space for community. We look forward to bringing all aspects of our community together. With an open mind, all things are possible. We will strive to provide a clean and safe environment for sharing and learning for everybody. As Gary says, from K to Gray, for everybody. This is a student actually sharing modeling with his fellow students, how to create things. This is a group of students working on proposals together, sharing ideas, bouncing off of each other. This is a picture of one of our shop spaces. We had CNC and 3D print technology for them to have access to. They created amazing things, just given the opportunity and the tools. It'll be a space for families. We understand there are less and less environments where a family can gather to work on projects and ideas. A lot of us don't have the tools in our home that we might have access to in a makerspace. We don't have a 3D printer. I have one in my office, but I'm one of the lucky few. My office at home. We don't have CNC, a place to put a 4x8 CNC machine where we can cut 4x8 sheets of plywood and build furniture. We want to provide a space for those things to be available to people. We look forward to providing that space for our community. If you'll notice, there's a pair of twins here in the front. This was an RC car project. We had 4 little boys that were under the age of 6 trying to build an RC car together. There were a lot of arguments, but we got it figured out and we got it built. Then the argument was over the controller, so we had to take turns with that too. But this shows our space that we had at TLC. It'll be a space for kids. FCFI will create and provide project-based learning curricula, after-school programs, day camps, and drop-in projects for parents and children to work on together. Kids today need places to learn hands-on skills and crafts, something they're working on at the high school and the middle school. We want to help them with that as well, however we can do that. This shows some of our kids working on projects. It'll be a space for you. Your first place is home with your family. Your second place is at work. Your third place to go we will be your third place to go to find new things, friends, ideas, and edutainment. We will regularly have theme nights, special interest meetings, game nights, movie nights, group projects, and anything else we can think of. We want to be open to member ideas and work on projects that everybody wants to work on, or just a few people want to work on. The beauty of a makerspace is you may meet somebody you've never seen in your life that has the best idea that you want to be part of, or you may have an idea that they have something they can add to. When you have engineers and lawyers and, everybody together, products come to life. And lastly, I want to share, your image here. Your projects here. What FCFI is your community innovation or makerspace? And I want to share some renderings with you of what could be possible. So this shows a workspace. If you'll notice, there is office space here. There's workspace. There's CNC equipment. There's all kinds of equipment. Table saw, all available for use to the members. So what are our takeaways? We need funding, we need people, and we need space. Not necessarily in that order, but we need all of those things. And I think Frankfort has all those things available to us. They have a great makerspace in Lexington, a couple of spaces. They have a great makerspace in Louisville. But this is our state's capital, and we should be able to shine in a way that they just aspire to be. And that's what we look forward to doing. So if you want to learn more, there's our website. We're available. We're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, FCFI Frankfort. You can find us there. I'll come back to this slide, but I just want to say thank you. We look forward to working with you, and we thank you for your time.
That was great. Like I said, there's already things going on. There's a makerspace on campus, actually, on KSU campus. It's mainly for 4-H and kids, and of course, I think our students will be able to use it as well. We have a group on campus called KSU Innovators, Inc. that's about innovation for our students to hopefully mentor the kids. But we have a place for you guys, too. It's called Frankfort Entrepreneurs. We meet the second Friday of every month at Frisch's for breakfast. If you want to be on that email, let me know. We've been doing that for about a year now. I get different people, different months, but that's how I met Jason. And we meet and we put things together. So we do that. Like I say, this is going to be, again, kind of hopefully pull everything together. A lot of people are doing things in silos. We don't want to do that anymore. We want to all work together. Say there's maker spaces at the high school and elementary school at Frankfort. They're making their whole school maker space basically. So we'll be working with them on K-State on the campus. So this is actually a nonprofit. We're starting separate. We want to pull everybody into it though. So it's one of those things. It's not a KSU. It's not a city of Frankfort. It's not the county. It's not the state. It's not the school systems. It's all those people being partners, but we're all working together. So, all the maker spaces is out there. We're doing anything to close. We want to work with them, mentor them. People can mentor at this place as well. So that everybody can come together. Does that make sense? So we need everybody to be involved in this. That's what the magazine article was about in the Kiwanis magazine this past month on makerspace. So I think it's exciting. Hopefully, time we can all work together. I know these things have been tried before. We had an incubator a few years ago. Is that correct? I think. But again, I think it's when people working in silos, it just didn't take. Now maybe it's the time for that to take. We have more of these happening, kind of like sprouting up all over town, and people are thinking about it. So maybe it's time. I think the time is now for this to take place. And like I say, we can grow from this to a whole campus, basically. We think and see what's needed out there. There's things that unlike some larger campuses, we can kind of grow. We can be nimble and grow and see what's needed and fill in those gaps that aren't being taken care of right now by our universities or vocational schools, or we can work with them on adding more to that as well. So anyway, we're all here for questions. We have some handouts too for you. So questions, comments?
Are there state or federal grants that might be available to help?
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. The state, of course, had the innovation centers a few years ago. They're around for about a dozen years. About 3 years ago, they decided to change that. Instead of having just set innovation centers around the state, they pulled that money and said, let's make it a competition in a way that you can have you compete. What do you have going on in your area that would be innovative? Okay, be something different. So now Louisville got that, of course. They have several maker innovation, office sharing places. They have a lot of that, several of them actually. Lexington has a couple now, right? Awesome Inc. and a couple others. SOAR, Shaping the Appalachian Region, and Pikeville. They do things sprinkled throughout 42 counties. That's their territory. Northern Kentucky has one, and then Western Kentucky has one. But Frankfort does not, and it's the capital. So again, I emailed my contact in the Cabinet for Economic Development and said, this is not innovative. We got to be able to compete, okay? So let Frankfort compete. So we're trying to get the city, and the county, everybody I've talked to is supportive. We haven't really talked about anything in specifics yet, but everybody seems supportive of what we're doing. And once you get that, then there is state money. We won't get what Louisville and Lexington has maybe, but we can grow to that. So, but there is programs out there.
The funding didn't stop here because there wasn't space.
Yeah.
That's essentially, once there's a space, there's.
Yes.
Recently, a lot of growth in business is not in new things, but new ways of organizing things that are out there. For example, a new way of marketing something. So that's one question. I assume your makers includes ideas that are not physical things.
Yes.
And the other question is sort of related to that. Many businesses fail for lack of capital, lack of creating an organizational culture, lack of knowing how to make the right kinds of partnerships and linkages. Are you going to deal with that aspect of it by having training in those kind of skills?
Definitely, yes. We'll
Okay.
be bringing in, all of us, of course, the university, community colleges, us. We'll be having trainings there, of course. We can take it on the road as well. We have an idea of taking things on the road. All these things will be taken on the road. If wherever there's a need, where the need is, we can take care of that. That's the idea. And again, we have Shark Tank-like activities going on. That's already happened too, I know, in the past in Frankfort. But we started out at the campus. We have it going to the high school. We can. I always go to Louisville Ventures, Venture Connectors in Louisville. That Muhammad Ali Center. They meet once a month. I like it something like that going in Frankfort too. We can meet and again over a lunch period and have competitions. People come in and speak. So again, get to some of the issues you talked about marketing and so forth. Yeah, Chris.
A lot of people, when they start innovation and creating something, thank you. Thank you very much. One of the fear is theft of their ideas. Is there a component within all this to protect the ideas of the creators? And if so, please explain, and how's it funded?
Right. I mean, for us, getting a patent, getting a trademark, things like that. Well, I tell students that I've had students tell me that all the time, and I say, we can get before we do competitions, we get letters of intent signed, make sure nobody will take your idea. But I've found, as I'm presenting my ideas and stuff, most people are too lazy to take your idea and do something with it, I think. So the general populace you're talking to, I think, probably won't. Okay, they won't, because you're the one with that passion. They don't have that passion, right? But you're right. I mean, we do have, we'll have forms if you're having something inside the makerspace to be protected. If you were doing a competition, there'll be forms that the audience would have to sign if the competitors so want that to happen. Yeah, but I've never had that to be a major problem with students when they compete with their ideas. But that's a good question. And we have we have an attorney involved that's setting up a nonprofit right now, Doug Howard, been very helpful to us. And any other attorneys would like to help out, please come on board. We have plenty of room, okay? But Doug's helping us with this and capital living, a couple things we worked on for his nonprofits. He's always there to help us out. So we're doing this. This is going to be, like I said, nonprofit. We have the board set up already, and we'll be adding to that over time. And we have an advisory board as well, and that we can have a lot on that. That's, an advisory board that will be, I already have 2 or 3 people on that, and we'll keep adding to that as well. We want to get, a lot of input. Yeah, go ahead. You want to get up here?
A lot of the idea behind a makerspace is mainly open source. It's a lot of open source activities. But we've actually helped a couple of young men that were working on projects that we all signed paperwork that we wouldn't steal his idea, and we helped him along. One of them was actually I can say this much, it was a new Q-tip, and we helped him prototype that, and everything left with him. He paid 1 month membership to come in and save $10,000 on a prototyping process, and then left with his new prototype. So yes, we will have opportunities for people to work together open source as well as privately. And we will have all those forms available for people that want to, and a lot of it is getting to know people and learning who you can and can't trust, which is another thing you learn in business. But yes, we will have all that available to our members. You're welcome.
Well, let's give a round of applause for all of our presenters today.